welcome to Something to Be On this channel. Today I wanted to come on and share with you guys our Sunday dinner for tonight. As you can see, we're going to have a roast. We're going to have some fresh fried white corn. We're going to have my homemade chicken dressing and some fried cabbage. I will not be doing cornbread because I have the cornmeal mix that's going to be incorporated into the dressing, so we don't really need the cornbread. And for anybody who does not like chicken dressing, try this and I promise you they're going to love it. So before I head out, because I don't have everything that I need some chicken broth. I'm going to bake some chicken to go inside of that dressing. But before I head out, I wanted to show you guys how to tenderize your roast, because we know a lot of time when you cook and roast, it comes out kind of tough and you're cutting and this, that, the other. I'm going to show you how to make that bad baby so tender that a newborn baby can suck it through a bottle. Now, a lot of time people tend to reach for their meat tenderizer. Don't go for that. This is what I want you to do. Anytime that you're tenderizing meat or you're going to slow cook meat in any kind of way, whether it be ribs on a grill, in your oven, anytime that you're going to bake or slow cook anything, this is what I want you to reach for first. Onion powder. Onion powder has the ability of making your meat very tender, and in some cases, I would say 99% of the time, it will make your meat just fall off the bone if it has a bone in it. It's going to make it come off the bone. But I have to run out to the store to get some chicken broth, and that is my roast that we're going to cook for tonight. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and take that out of the package. I'm going to pre-season some chicken breast to bake inside of my convention oven while the roast is going to be in the oven. We're not going to even coat it with flour, fry it, and then put it. We're not doing that. We're not going to even do that. That's a good way to do it, but we're going to do it this way. We're going to take this meat out the pack, we're going to rinse it off, and we're going to begin to put our seasoning on it. Now, I will be putting some all-purpose seasoning on it this time. This season all, I'm going to put that on there. But for those of you who cannot have a lot of sodium, go ahead and pick up some of this. Please pick this up and try it. That's the Mrs. Dash. I hope it's coming in focus. Let's see. Pick up some of that Mrs. Dash. You can't go wrong with that. They have all kind of flavors, blends. You can't go wrong with this. Can't go wrong. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove that from the package. We're going to rinse it off under the sink very well, because a lot of people tend to think, okay, if you rinse meat off, certain kind of meats, if you rinse it off, it's going to make it tough. If you try the way I'm trying to show you, you're going to be leaving comments down below. So let's go ahead and take this out the pack. And you know, when you're dealing with meat, you want to go ahead and I had this in the refrigerator. I've been saying I'm going to cook this for the longest. My kids said, Mama, get in the kitchen and cook. Sorry, I'm not on camera today. Okay, we're going to remove that. You can see, look what it's trying to do. Because I had it in, I'll bring it over here to my sink. Bring it over here to the sink. I'll take it out that pack. You saw that roast look? Don't look too good right now, but wait. Let's go ahead and rinse that off very well. You better clean your meat. Stop taking stuff out of the pack thinking you're going to just put it in the oven. That ain't how that works. Yeah, you better clean that meat off. Know what you talking about? I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to rinse that meat down good, baby, before I cook it. Y'all know me. Now, on something like this, we're going to savor some of our fat, but some of this stuff we're going to pull off now. We're going to savor some of the fat. I'm going to pull that off, and what I can't pull off, I'm going to cut off. Wash it down real good. Don't worry about the water contents in the meat. I'm going to take care of that part. Look back over here. In between that roast, I'm going to cut off some of that fat. Some of that lining of that fat. I'm going to take all of that off. That's good, because I pulled some of it off. Okay. So remember what I talked about? The first thing you want to do is take your onion powder. And be generous with it because it's not going to leave an aftertaste. This is what I want you to do. It's not going to leave any kind of aftertaste, so don't worry about it. Even if you don't like onion, you're not going to even taste it. And ladies, for those of you who use Mederma, but a lot of the fading aid for stretch marks and whatever, that's the main ingredient inside of it. So this probably is going to equivalent, by the time I do both sides, it's going to be equivalent to like probably about a half a cup of onion powder. Once we finish, I'm going to clean my mess up just a little bit. Okay, once we're going to pretend like we have all the seasoning on the roast. Once you put all your onion powder on there, I want you to take your knife and just stab into your meat very well. Now you wouldn't normally have to do this if you're going to leave it overnight to marinate, but since I'm just cooking it straight from the package, and I'm not going to allow it to marinate for some time, I want you to do this procedure on both sides. Okay, next thing I want to do is go ahead and add all my other additional seasoning. While we're already on this side, I'm going to use my seasonal because like I stated that I'm going to give them a little salt tonight, I guess. That's my seasonal. That's probably about 2 tablespoons of seasonal. Y'all know I like to clean up my mess as I'm cooking. Some. There we go. And I'm still going to add just a little bit of my Mrs. Dash to it because it don't have any salt in it. You know, Easter's right around the corner. You don't necessarily have to do a roast or whatever. I'm saying, some people do turkey, I guess. I'm going to do some baked chicken on the grill. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my onion powder. My garlic powder, I'm sorry. This is garlic. And garlic, you have to be very light with it because it's so powerful. And then the next thing I want to add is a little bit black pepper. About a teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, so that's how that first side is going to look. You see that? Let me get it in closer. You see how that's going to look? Okay, y'all, I'm back. Let me go ahead and place this inside of this bowl. It's not really a large size roast, so we don't need anything bigger than this. And watch this. That's all we needed to put that roast in. It's not that big. If you don't want to use onion powder, you can use you still can use, say for instance, you use the onion powder to tenderize that meat. You still can use a whole onion to put in there if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on that, pop that in the oven on 350. When I come back, it's probably going to take me about 30 minutes. I'm going to remove it from the oven. I'm going to show you what we're working with and how to go on or proceed on after that. Okay, here's my baked chicken. I'm going to place it in my convention oven. That is for my dressing. And look what I found in my refrigerator, some fresh green beans. So I'm going to do these green beans as well. Anytime that you buy vegetables, if you can, please buy the kind in the bags because they're more fresh than the can. Now, it's okay to do a can, but for the majority of your vegetables, you want to incorporate some fresh vegetables to mix in with it. So I'm going to do those green beans tonight as well. But I'm going to go ahead and place that in my convention oven. I have my cornbread in the oven cooking with my roast. And we'll get this meal started. This meal should be completed within 1 hour, hour 15 minutes, hour and a half the most. Stay tuned. Okay, y'all, I have my roast still in the oven. I'm almost finished with my dressing. As you can see, I've added the cornbread. I'm waiting for the chicken to come out of the convention oven to incorporate that into the dressing. And I still have not gone out to pick up that chicken broth. I wanted to do everything ahead of time. Now, we talked about the roast. When you're doing the roast, the old traditional way is to make the roast, cut up the potatoes and the carrots, and add it within the pot itself to cook. But this is the thing. If you're not going to serve that roast and everybody's going to eat it on that same day, it tends to make the roast go sour. It has a funny smell to it. So this is what I would suggest that you do. Go ahead, cut your potatoes up, cut up your carrots, and I'm going to use some of those carrots for my cabbage as well. And what we want to do is take a knife. I want you to take a knife. I'm not going to do that many because the kids don't like it this way anyway. And we're going to cut that in fours. I may just do 2 potatoes. Cut them in fours. Whatever size you want your potatoes to be, that's fine. Mine's sort of medium. Now with my carrots, I use a peeler. So go ahead and we're just going to make some round cuts of this carrot. So what you want to do is take some oil of your choice. I'm going to use this extra virgin olive oil. I'm just going to use a capful. That's it. Take a capful of it. That's all you need. Drizzle over the top of that. We're going to add a little bit of fresh basil. Just a little bit. A hint of garlic. That's it. A little bit different. I'm going to add some chives to it. Some oregano. Just a hint. And last but not least, just a little bit of the parsley flakes. Can somebody reach over and give me a spoon? That's it. Now, if you must have some season on this, go ahead and pick this up. We're not going to use no season on. We're going to use the Mrs. Dash salt free. We're just going to use a hint of that. Because see, when this come out of the oven, if you decided to eat it with your roast, you can. We're just going to blend that very well. Okay. I'll take this bowl and pour that into that bowl. All my season. I'm going to pop that in the oven on 350 for about 20 minutes. And I'm going to cover it with the top. Place it in the oven, and we're going to continue with our meal, and I'll be back shortly because I'm going to fish you a plate to go. I removed my roast from the oven, and let's go ahead and take a look at it. And there it is. So see, I didn't put any water whatsoever in this roast because it pretty much stores its own juice. Look at all that juice. But this is the thing, I do not like to keep this juice to marinate, to go ahead and make my gravy from it. That's the roast. Looking kind of crazy now, but give it a chance. Okay, so here's the juice that I used. I used some of this Tone's brown gravy mix, and I added 2 tablespoons of flour to it. You want it to be very watery. I'm gonna add just a little bit more kick of that garlic powder. Y'all already know I love onion powder. And about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Let me add a little bit more water to this. And that's probably about another 1/2 cup of water I just added to this. I know you said, girl, that look crazy. All right. Let me show you this meat. I pulled the piece of meat off. Look how soft this meat is. Look there. That's the fat in between it, but this meat is soft. I'm trying to eat it where these kids won't see me eat it. Okay. That's my gravy. While it's watery, gonna take it. You really want it to cover over there. Put a little bit more water in it. Really wanted it to cover, but it didn't. Now I'm gonna take my aluminum foil, cover this up. When it come out of the oven, just be ready to eat. That's all I can tell you. Okay, let's look in the oven at the roast. Okay, there go the roast. Take out this aluminum foil. Ooh, that's hot. Look at that. Do you see that? You see that sauce? Get a spoon. Y'all have to excuse that noise because I am trying to keep my mess minimized because you know I don't like no mess. Look at that gravy. Look at that gravy. You better stop playing. Remember, we're not going to put any vegetables in this pan just in case they don't eat everything tonight. They will be eating this tomorrow. That's what you call a repeat. Yes. But look how pretty that gravy is. So when I pull out that dressing, whoever wants gravy on that dressing, go for it. I'm going to slide that back in there, cover it up for another 10-15 minutes. And I'm going to fish your plate. Because you know Sonya be on it. Okay, look at them home cooked greens I made. And remember, you can add 1 can of green beans, but for the most part, you want to have fresh vegetables. And that is 1 can of glory with a whole bag of fresh greens. And I added 2 more large cups of water that the greens came in and add a little bit more seasoning. This is what you want it to do is cook down. Did I put any meat in there for flavor? No, you don't need it all the time. Stop thinking that you got to have all your meat with ham, hog, bacon, and turkey neck. No, these going to be good. I'm getting ready to turn these off. Put that over there. If we look over here in this pot, you see in my wok, I have cooked my cabbage. No meat, no grease. Only thing I did is wash the cabbage real good. And I placed it in my wok. Let the wok get very hot for about 5 minutes. Drop that cabbage in there and it steam cooks itself from the water that the cabbage holds. It will steam cook this cabbage, add a little seasoning of your choice to it, and there you go. Look how beautiful that is. I'm gonna fish your plate in a minute, so come on back. Now here's the potatoes. I tried to hold off on these potatoes, but these kids just it tastes sweet, and that's what's gonna happen when you caramelize or you baking carrots with something. It's gonna caramelize and make it taste very sweet, so they like it. I'm gonna place this on the side of the meal. They don't eat some of it. So that's going to go with the meal too. Okay, so here's our roast. We're going to just cut into it a little bit. Look at that meat. Look at that. Is that meat falling? What'd I tell you? You better start cooking with Sonya be on it. You see that meat? Look how it's falling. Look. Look. I'm going to put this on your plate. I got your plate ready. Okay, that was my timer. Let me go ahead and fish your plate right quick so you can take your plate with you. That's what you call a tender. Look how tender that roast is. Look. I'm just going to take my fork and spread it. Look. Do you see how tender that roast is? I don't know who you're going to slap, but I know you won't slap somebody. Look how tender that roast. I got your plate over here to the side. Take your plate. Just put your roast on it. Did you want some dressing? Let me go and give you a scoop of dressing. Y'all better take my word when I tell y'all something. There go your dressing. Okay, so you want some, okay, I hear you. Now, you remember what we talked about with that potatoes and carrots? Let me show you something. I'm going to put just a little bit of dressing on there. I see somebody saying, well, put some dressing on there, but you really don't need the dressing on there because you can take your roast and eat it with your dressing. This dressing is to die for. But what I'm going to do, this is what I really want to do. I want to go ahead and give you a spoonful of this vegetable with the carrots and potatoes over to the side. And we may add just a little bit more of that roast on your plate. Let's add some gravy on there. But do you see how that gravy came out? You see that gravy? I'm going to put a little bit on your plate. How about that? Now you can put the gravy on top of that. I know what you're saying. You're saying, oh, Sonya, when you going to invite me to dinner? Well, this is your plate to go. So come on over here and get your plate. Because you know I got to feed the other kids, right? That's Sunday dinner right there, y'all.